Welcome, my name is Farid. This is the tutorial about the rendering pyro inside Houdini 12.5. Just make some research some research on the net, and I think it's very hard to find some information relating to the rendering the pyro inside Houdini. There is one on the SideFX website, but I was working on with a beta version, really hard to follow, you know. So what I want to do is just show you just quick tutorial on how to manipulate the shader, especially the pyro shader that you find in the shop inside Houdini 12.5. So another information that I read also on the old forum also, and regarding the upres, you know, because there is you don't need the upres, because it was in the last version on the shelf, but no is disappearing. You know, is not anymore there, because all the things you do is on the shader itself. So in the Pyro 2 shader. So what we do to show you this. I just, as I said, this is just I'm not a Houdini specialist, you know. But I just want to have, because I get many mails as I posted some pyro test on Vimeo. I get too much questions about how I did the shader, and this is tutorial showing how I did it. So to begin with, we just start with some from scratch. You know, I love to work from scratch so that the people can learn something else in my tutorial. So we begin, we set up a sphere somewhere, you know. It's not important. The first thing I did is squish it a little bit, so I don't want the fire. So we want to make some kind of explosion. So what I did is squish a little bit the sphere before I convert it to pyro via the shelf. So after you set it up here, and of course the size of the sphere depending also on the simulation time, the voxel size and everything, and I think everybody knows this. So bear in mind, if you make it bigger, you have to compensate for the value that you put inside your shadow. All right. So the first thing we do is jump back to the shower, and I'm going to use the shelf as I said. So where is my pyro? Something here. So I just want a fireball or explosion or something. So I just hit explosion, select the sphere and hit enter, and do some Pythonix conversion and everything. So he jumped directly to the where I'm here in the top, and in the top, as you know, there is I have a very small area to work with here. But anyway, so in the pyro itself, on the smoke object, the imported smoke object, or the imported object, here you can set up the division size, blah blah blah, and everything, you know. And I think there is much tutorial on the net to show you how to make an explosion. What this value are? Sorry, just taking a cup of coffee. And the division size here is the set up the resolution. So what I'm going to do is put it something kind of default here. And another thing that you have to play with is on the guide itself, you can see the multi-field, the density, and you can visualize what you want. But we're going to use this in the shader. So inside to render the color, we're going to use the heat, and the density and the temperature we gonna also use inside the shader itself. So temperature, heat, and density will be used to manipulate the shader. So first thing to do is in the multi-site, here I can set up many things here, but I don't want to dig inside it. Just there is a tutorial on side effects on Vimeo also, which explain all these options that you have here. So bear in mind that division size is the one which is important, and this is the size and the size of the container if you want how to say the container, the fluid container that contains the smoke. So anyway, we after the pyro we go to the another. This is the size container. And this is the source files, or this is the sphere that we import. So if you click it inside, you can see that blah 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 the path to the sphere object, the object that we created. Anyway, the very important thing is the reside in the solver itself, so the pyro solver. Now here you can decide which kind of behavior you want. So you have a simulation, so the time scale, how quickly it's behaving, then the temperature diffuse, blah blah blah, cooling rate and viscosity. You can play with this. The buoyancy, how quick it's growing, in the y-axis, as you can see here. So we're going to put it something like 5, or no, 5 is too much. I can put 2 or something like this. Then in the combustion, you have the ignition temperature, the burn rate, and blah blah blah. But what interests me here is the shape, and in the shape I can set up how the disturbance, the shredding, and the other things that you can play with, like sharpening and confinement, dissipation, blah blah blah. So this value define the behavior, or you want the behavior, the fluid motion of the fluid itself. So here you can play with the value to get the result that you want, or that you accept, that you expect. So we go back to the sphere, because I want to make something else. This is the object that we convert to fuel, to smoke, or to fire. First is the sphere, and after the sphere, this is the fluid source, or the SDF volume from this sphere. And what interests me here is to go to the SDF from object. Here you can see it. And there I can put the minimum distance and the empty interior. So I don't want an empty interior. As you can see, this is a little bit hollow inside. I don't know if you can see it really here, but if I disable this too, I get more smoky things, more no more holy object, and a hollow sorry, a hollow fluid shape here. This is what I tend to do every time I want to make a dense smoke or dense fire, whatever. Anyway, this is the things what we can do. Now you can go back to the object. Now I don't want to see the sphere anymore, so I disable it. I just want to see the object that will be rendered, and the object that will be rendered, we can colorize it so that we can see it. So this is the one that will be rendered, and when you deep inside, you can see that there is two node. So you can see there's two nodes. One is the import for the visualization on the screen, and this is what will be rendered. And if you import option, you can see that you can also cache this in some way in order to get a better feedback. When you play with the animation. So I show you also how to cache this in order to play it and something in real time, but it's needed for rendering, because I don't want to push my resource, my computer resource, too high, because when you simulate with a higher voxel size, or division size, with a smaller division size, for a better simulation, a better behavior, you lose some resource, computer resource. So we're gonna write it in some kind of cache here, and we load it from disk so that we can play it in real time if you want. Anyway, this is I just show you this after. So this is the two nodes. This is one is for visualization and one is for rendering. So go back, and we want to take a look what is doing. So I just hit play. So because I have small, let me zoom outside. But the first thing I want to what is the light? I want to put some light. First, the just simple. Let me look through the light so that I can set up. Oh, I forget to put this. Let me. Where is my? So let me something like this. This is my light. Before I leave it, I just want to go to the shadow and put the deep map shadow and something like 10, 20, and no. So, and I don't need it anymore. The light. So this is my light. What I need also is a camera. So let me hit control and why it doesn't working. I put to camera. Spotlight camera. Let me organize these things. This is my camera. Let me go inside camera and choose a view, something like this. Where's my light? Oh yeah. Oh, the light is too. Anyways, for let me take a look. So okay. This is my light. Go back to my look through my spotlight. Why it's not showing the icon? I just put the grid away. Alright, it's the spotlight. Alright, go back to the camera and we hit this so that we don't lose the camera. Next thing is to create a mantra render. Mantra a node, and we just hit render. Just look what is looking like from the box, right from the box. Let me see. You see, you get this shit. I just put some. You get this shit, So next, let me change the gamma. I just play with the gamma here. Just go to the setting and color correction, enter apply. I don't want a gamma, So this is what you get at the first things. We just take a look at the material here. This is a fireball, and if we go inside, but let me first. Sorry, let me pin this. I don't want to lose this. I just want to go to the. So this is what you get at first. This fireball is in pyro. You see, if I go to the surface, to the material, you see I have a pyro material, and from the box, it doesn't work. I don't like it so. So we begin first with there's too much tab here, and you get lost. If you it's very complicated. The first thing we start with the smoke. And in the smoke we have two tabs in each area. First in the field name here, as I said, the density is what we saw on the guide. Density, take it from the density. Then we have two tabs in the field shape, field noise, and we have also some secondary things like the color. Choose what you want, the ramp or just the float value, and you have some ramp interval. You can clamp this between 0 and 1, 0 and whatever you want, and you have the final amplitude. First thing, we set up the amplitude to 1, and every time we hit render to see what is changing. So we're gonna see what's happening now here. Let it render, and this is what we get. Nothing special, nothing is so nothing has changed here. First, in the density, as I said, we have fit range here. We can clamp this to something like 2 and take a look what we have. So we begin with with small steps so that we can see what the value is doing. As you can see, nothing special. uh, we set it to 0 to 2 and we let it here. So we jump to the next tab, which is the color. And the color in the density, the fire is defined by the density. I'm talking about smoke, not the fire now, yeah? So here you can set whatever you want, the artistical, physical, or the constant. So just push it to constant and take another render and just take a look what's going on. If something is changing, you know. And some things you can't explain the value until you see what is going. So we let it to artistic. Nothing special here. What I did. Right, so this is what the smoke, the value of smoke. We jump to the fire, and as you can see, in the fire also have two tabs, which density and the color. So the density is the field name is heat, and the color is temperature, and this is what's define the shader here. So first thing first, we want to go in the color. We choose an artistic. Then in the field shape, we set. You see the source range is between 0 and 5, and the amplitude is 5. We gonna put the amplitude to 5, and look what's going on. I think it's too much, but we're gonna clamp it again here. You can see we don't get any fire anymore, so it's too much. What we're gonna do before we touch anything, we go to the shading, and in the brightness model, say it's match visualization, we're gonna say match mantra, and the shadow density we put something like 20 or something, and take a look what's going on. So now you can see in every little step. So this is what you get. Now I lose some density of 20, I lose some color, so I go back here and set the amplitude to 5 or something like this. So compensate for this. Just let me see what's going on or what's happened. So we lose the fire color, of course, because we clamp it too much. We go back to we set it to 1 again, go back to and what we're gonna do now is let me see. Alright, so now in the field shape we set the fit range to source range between 0 and 5, so that we can clamp it a little bit, or yes, and in the color we choose artistic, and alright, so we go back to the density, to the density, the fit to range unclamped source range between 0 and 1. So I just want to put it like something like 0.10 and make a render and take a look what's going on. So the value is a little bit spreaded. So you can see now I have lose some color, and now there I can choose to put the final amplitude to something like 5, and now I can see some color through, I think. I hope. So yeah, I see some color now. Some color is spreading here. Anyway, we are not done yet. So what we have to do again, let me see. So let me go back to the shading and set the shadow density to something like 10, and go back to the fire in the density. So as I said, clamp it interval 0, 1, 2, blah blah blah. Go back to the smoke and sorry, in the fire, in the density, in the color, sorry, we no, not in the color, in the density, everything is okay here. In the smoke we want to put the value about 4, something like this, and make a render again. Let's take a look what's better, what is not better. So this is what we get with low resolution, and if I put the gamma of 2.2, nothing's changed. Anyway, we just want to take a look what's going on. No, I have let me put a ramp and do again. Sorry, this is modified. Let me a ramp is there. I don't want a ramp in the smoke. Let me start another render and take a look what is going on. This is what we have, and to know I think the color is let me back this to 2, something like this. Let's try an error, you know, I don't remember the value that I put there. So this is what we get, but let me play a little bit longer the simulation so that we can see some fire or some smoke. This is what we get. Let me press render. Now we get smoke, and it's not looking bad, but a little bit of color, fire color. Let me go back to the color fire and set the source range to 3 or 4, something like this, so that I can get more color. Don't want to clamp it everywhere. And just take a look. Now I get some. I think the ramp, the color ramp, is not exact. So this is the field shape. I'm on the field shape. Wait a moment. Just want to. So this is the clamp, the ramp. So let me go to the smoke color. We hit this fit range and clamp it and put it to color. And let me put again render. Let us see what's going on. We see a little bit of fire. We don't want. So it's looking a little bit better. So the smoke. So let me jump a little bit. So I lose my file here. Let me go back a little bit down and make another render. So just to try an error, you know, I just want to show you the value that you have to change. This is it, looking very bad. So what we're gonna do now is in the fire, in the color, we go to the field nose here. So let me put this to 4, something like this. And let's see, field nose. We activate the field nose and we put frequency something like 4, 3, something like this, and let's make a render, because the nose will play an arbitrary role, you know. So I don't like the color that the fire have here in the color. So what's going on here? Alright, field shape is 0.4. Let's see. Let me go back again to smoke and density. We put this value to 5 and clamp it to 5, something like this. And we hit render. Again, this is what we get, not too exciting. We set up a ramp and we put the value to something like 5 and this one to 2. And we make again a render. Too much to anyway, you know, just playing with it. It's looking better now. I just see some color inside, you know, it's looking better. So what else? Interval, we gonna go to the shading and no, not in the shading, in the fire, and I think everything is okay here. Maybe the brightness, smoke brightness, put it to something like 0.5. We don't want the smoke to overkill the well, this is it. I just see some color here, but the noise are too high. So we go to the color, field noise, and we put something like 12. So again in the field shape, and yeah, this is it. Just playing with this setting that I'm playing with. As you can see, get some color here. Of course, the the simulation itself, you know, is very low. So we go back to the autodop network on the pyro. We set this to 0.1, something like this, and as I said, this depends on how big the thing. And of course, I forgot, just want to play with the refinement, confinement, and everything, you know. So I choose my, and let me play this. Oh, there's too much color. Let me set the confinement to 3, and in the pyro I just wanted the what is it, simulation, yeah, the cooling rate. Let me take the buoyancy to 4 so that we get a push. So this is what we get, very small resolution. So let me go back to 0.8 and play. So the resolution is too small, you know. Let's play some. Alright, we hit stop and we go to render. Let's see what we have now. This is what we get. Resolution is too small, you know, and I just want to get some fire. I am not on the. I wanted to go to the fireball. Anyway, so what we have smoke. We set the fit range ramp, and we clamp the ramp to 0 to 5 on the interval to 0.5. We set the source range to 0.2, and the field noise we didn't activate it on the density, and also not on the color. And the color we set up an artistic here, but I think the constants will do better. I think. I don't know. I don't remember the setting that I did. No, now I have a dense smoke here. So let us go back to the artistic again and take a look. I don't want a gamma here. Let me take another render. So again in the smoke we go to use point color, tint with CD, and artistic we don't want to just say constant and take a render again. Already I don't remember. Anyway, you see it better. This is what I get. No, it's time to play a little bit. But why I didn't get this fire? Let me make another render. All right, this is what we get. So what I'm going to do is don't want this in the color. I just want it in the density. I don't want it in the color. So I don't want the color of the smoke based on the density. Nothing changed. Let me move a little bit in time to see the explosion. And we gonna take a render again. Come on. What the heck is doing? I don't want it. Calculating again. Because I am on frame 59. So let me go back a little bit. Again, yes, yeah. Let me pick 1 frame or 2 or 3 and make a render. So something's going to be changed here. Of course, now I see the color and the smoke, and you know, also what we have here, we just take a look at, as I said, on the smoke. So we recapitulate. On the smoke we have density. In the field shape we clamp, you know, this is fit to range 0 2, and the ramp is the interval is to 0 to 5, and if the amplitude is to 1. Now in the color I didn't put anything, you know, I just don't want it here. Now in the shading I just want to put 20 just to get more, but I think the color is not matching the color on the viewport. This is looking better, you know, this is starting to looking better at what we have at the first time. Anyway, let me see. So maybe we have to play a little bit with the color. So I don't want it to too white, so I'm gonna put a little bit gray, something like this, or you know, put it like this, and a little bit of yellowish, not all white. Field shape and the field noise, I think I choose 5 or 3, and we change it afterward. So again, another render to see what it's looking like. Of course I choose the fiery and give me some other color, you know, I just want some red, well, this is looking better. This is it, it's looking better as the first time. So all you have to do is playing with the in the fire color, in the color you have to play with this, so you can put some red, you know, some red, you know, some reddish color. This is looking like anyway, just show you how to change the yes, and of course you play with the just want to play with the color. You see the color are not correct here, you know, just if I want to change it, like, I don't know, play with the ramp, you know, to get a fire looking fire. This is what I get. Anyway, I want to show you the file that I did. This is my file, and this is the original file that I did, and the as you can see, the let me cancel this and pick a little bit. So this is my ramp, how I did the ramp, the value, and everything is exact, you know. For the smoke, as I said, in the density, and let me make this a little bit bigger just so you can see. So in the smoke, in the density, I have a density channel, and in the field shape, fit range, ramp 0 2 and clamp 0 5, and the final amplitude to 1. Then you get the color, and the color is I disabled the how you say, the channel. And in the fire, in the density, I get temperature channel, field shape and ramp are both checkered, and 0 to 10, and the ramp interval to 0 to 1, and very important, final amplitude to 5. So we can change, you know, the amplitude of fire in the color, in the field shape to let's see, change it 5. What the heck is going on? So if I put 5 here, let's see what we get. I get a boost, you know. Normally I get a boost of the color. Yeah, this is it. I get the boost of the color, but the color are not correct, you know. For the for, you know, the ramp that I did here, it's not really what. So this one I can delete it, you know. and this one is correct, this one is have to be there, and this one here, and we make a render again. I think this ramp is you know, something like this. You have to play with the value, and we can just a little bit play, and we stop it, and we make another render, and this is how you change the value. It's very important to understand the value here in the this is what I get. It's very small resolution, but it's good. What do you think? You have to play with, of course, with we go back to the to the object, and we go to the Autodesk network. In the pyro, you set the not visible. You set the division size a little bit smaller so that you can get better data inside your simulation. Now, another thing that I want to show you before I leave is how to write the cache somehow. So in the file that you imported, you know, the import pyro build, you can deep inside, and in the import pyro field here in the dop import, you have a geometry file. You can set up a path here somewhere, you know, in your heap. I have something called cache, I think. Where it is? Where is my cache? I don't remember. I don't remember what I put. Something like, you know, you put a path here, and you go to the export file. Then you set the frame range here. Something like, I put 200 to 200. You set your frame range here. You hit render, and after you render it, when it's finished, you say load from disk, and then he read it from disk. So the simulation will be read from disk, and not it don't take too much resource from computer resource. So this is how you load it again from disk. The sim data, this is not really sim data because it's the BGO data. The sim data, if you want, if I remember really, it's in the DOP itself, you know, in the DOP network. You know, here you can where it is, yeah, here you can where is it? You can wait a moment. So no, not subdata. Oh man. Yeah, explicit cache, and you set up data here, some path where you want to cache the sim, not the BGO. You can see here the extension is sim and not BGO. This is how you want to back up the sim data. So anyway, but what we do here inside the DOP import is caching BGO data, you know, so that you can play it a little bit faster. This is it. Before I leave, I show you the render from this one. I did, you know, this is what I posted, and you can see the rendering very quick, you know, nothing special. As you can see, not the fire, you know. Another thing also is that you have to go to your mantra, and in the sampling you have to take care from the volume step size. So I put it to 0.02, and the volume shading something like 1.5 or something like this. And it's very important that you put that you take a little bit time to understand what the volume step size is. And this is playing also a big role in the render quality. So this is it. I think I gave you some information. I hope it helps you, and see you in the next tutorial soon. Ciao.